Good morning, everyone. Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. I've been so busy with our 31-day challenge that I haven't been playing much with the other mixed media, and I have a class starting up in a week and a half, so I figured I better sit down and play with it this morning. So, see you on the table. So this is the fun piece that we are creating today. It is mixed media collage. And it was way fun to play with. I'm going to be taking this to a printer and having them printed on metal, which I think will be amazing for a show that I have coming up. And we are going to create this piece in our next mixed media class, which starts in a week and a half now. Okay, let's go through the supplies. As usual, there's no particular order. You're going to need Mod Podge. I just filled up my jar, yay, and a brush. You're going to need a varnish. This is an art varnish. I will put it in the Amazon links. A pencil, a ruler, 3 colors. I believe I'll use 3, we'll see. 3 colors of cheap art acrylic paint. I'm going to use some spray ink, our focal points. I'm going to do a steampunk theme today. You're going to need underpants, quite a few underpants, because we're going to be doing a few layers of the underpants today. Don't they sound delicious? Love the sound. Papers, papers, papers. And some watercolor paper. This is about 12 by, it's about a 10 by 12. What we're going to do first is we are going to measure off an 8 by 10 because that's what frames are. So you'll go in here and measure off an 8 by 10. So you'll be taking an inch off each side. And an inch off the top and the bottom as well. So you guys know I tried to cheat by just using my ruler as a guide, but my ruler's too big. So this line is no good, which is no problem. I'm okay with that because we're going to cover it up with underpants. So this outside line, this is what we're going to be using as our guide. Alright, that way it will fit into an 8 by 10 frame easier. Now I'm going to grab my Mod Podge and my brush and a piece of paper towel. And what I'm going to start doing is just putting some underpants down. Now, those that have been with me for a while know that I put my underpants on straight. You do not have to. You can put yours on all crooked. I know we have shadows. I just heard from my son that the shadows are bothersome. And we will have to put up with the shadows until the sun's a little brighter. And then we can go with the El Natural. So put down some underpants. Oh, this is a fun one. It's long. That's something from the Rosanna love letter. Let's see if I can bring this over a little bit more. And then just keep going on your watercolor paper. And putting down some underpants. So cover your entire watercolor sheet with Mod Podge and underpants. And then we will come back together for the next step. going to wrinkle. That's okay. Okay, as you can see, I have overlapped some of the underpants, creating some fun stuff going on. You know you're not to fall in love with this layer because it's going to disappear, right? But it is important to the energy of the piece. So take your time and have fun and just put some stuff down. Look at these fun rusty pages. These are from Shirlene. Yum-malicious. Oh, she's kind of fun. Should we put her down? Maybe on the next layer. Maybe the next layer. My tummy's growling. The dictionary pages are thin, so they let the other layers show through, which is kind of fun. All right, I do not have to let that dry. I'm going to grab one of the colors of the cheap acrylic paint. Oh, here's something fun. Okay, I'm going to grab the darkest color of my cheap acrylic paint, and I'm going to put a blop on. Okay, and then I'm going to take my art varnish, and I'm going to put probably equal amounts, and I'm going to go in with my brush that I haven't even washed. It still has Mod Podge on it, and my page is still full of Mod Podge. It's not dry, and that's okay. And I'm just going to give that some color. The varnish will dilute the paint without affecting the integrity of the color. That's why I like to use it rather than just water. And just make sure everything has a nice little coat of fun acrylic on it. And yes, we have to let this dry. Okay, we're going to try to go without the overhead lights so we don't get so many shadows. Here it is with the one layer of paint and varnish. I grabbed my sanding block, you know me. I'm just going to go over it real quick and tear it up a little bit. Alright, I got it nice and torn up with that sandpaper. Do that as much as you'd like or as little as you'd like. I do like it torn up a bit around the edges of the ephemera, the pages, the books, the little bits. And next I am going to grab more underpants, and I'm going to cover some of this with the underpants. I'm not going to cover all of it because I do like what's going on back here, but some of these places can take some more energy. So we're just going to go in here and add pieces at will. Just go to my pile of underpants and randomly grab. I love these long pieces, they're so fun. some music paper, get rid of some of the white edge on that. What else do we have here? Here's the dictionary pages, which go pretty translucent, so we can put that here because that blue will show through there quite nicely. Oh, here's some numbers. Love numbers. Always let the piece talk to you as to where it feels it needs the energy, because it will tell you. How about some rusty underpants? Always room for rusty underpants. All right, let me just feel that piece. And there we go. All right, we do not have to wait for this to dry. We're going in with our second color. A little bit of green. A little bit of varnish. I just mix it right on the page. Right over the wet Mod Podge. That is just fine. Beautiful. So we can still see our under layer and then our next layer, each one picking up the paint. And I gotta let it dry. While that dries, I am going to play with the focal point. I already punched a little something and put them in his glasses there. This is a little clock, and then this is a little octopus that I put in his eyes. I have a candle for the top of his hat. I have another candle someplace that's going to take place of that magnifying glass. He's going to be holding that candle instead. May or may not use some of these things. We shall see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and glue this candle on the inside of his hat. And then I am going to cut the candle. I'm going to cut his hand right here and put the candle behind his hand. Now I have cut him out with an X-Acto knife. Oh, that might be fun someplace else, huh? So I want him to be holding that candle. Something like that. I'll just put glue on the whole candlestick because I don't know exactly where that's going to go. Put that in his hand. That looks pretty good. What can we do with that? We'll put it there. Why not? I'm just dipping my finger in that Mod Podge, getting some on that little image, and then we'll put it right there. Now I am going to go around the entire edge of him with my watercolor pen. I have brown. It's Jane Davenport. I haven't been able to find that on the Amazon link, but I did find another one that it seems comparable. So why do we do this? It just makes the image melt into the collage a little bit better without looking like it has a white edge. So I'm just going to go around the whole thing, paint the edge of this whole image. I know it's a pain. I just found an easier way to do it. Just put your image down on your Teflon sheet and go around the edge like that, and it just goes over enough to cover that edge. Oh, that's so much easier. Thank you so much. That doesn't take as much time at all. Of course, we'll see what it looks like on the other side when we pick it up, right? All right, fingers crossed. Good. Good, good, good. Couple little places maybe to touch up. Otherwise, very, very good. So I went ahead around all of the focal points that I think I might be using today, and I put watercolor on all the edges. And that, putting it on the back, that's the answer. All right, this is just about, no, this is dry. I'm going to take the sandpaper to it. All right, I have it sanded. Each time I look at it after it's sanded, I feel like, oh, it could take a little bit more sanding, a little more ripping up. I need to stop looking at it. It's good, Lori Marie. Walk away. All right, I'm going to bring my focal points in and just kind of play with them. I have the train. He's too big. Too big. He has to go on something else. So I like these gears. And I like him. I want the candle to be, and this looks good against that dark background. I have that. Oh, and I have another gear. Do we need this someplace? I don't think that does. Well, maybe right there. Does that do anything for the piece? Does it add anything to the piece? Oh, we're going to go for it. All right, so I had another color out, which I'm not going to use, and I also have a spray ink out, which I'm not going to use. I'm going to grab a different color spray ink. Okay, let's get a little playful with this, shall we? The spray ink is never predictable. So either you trust the process or you don't. And I am just going to let that dry like that. What I want to do is, one of the things that I think is really fun is to have like a little coffee stain. Like I've set my coffee cup down a couple of times on my art. course I don't know exactly where these are going to show. So I'm just going to play with some rings. That is very fun. So I just put some spray ink on my Teflon sheet. This is actually the lid from my Mod Podge. And, oh my goodness, how fun is that? Alright, now I want to bring this guy back in. I don't dare set him down. Alright, so now, now what have we done? I'm going to take some of that yellow, put that on my Teflon sheet. Maybe, baby. Oh, there we go. And I'm going to grab a toothbrush. I'm going to get the toothbrush wet. I'm going to go in here and grab some of that acrylic paint. It's just that cheap acrylic paint. I'm going to take my thumb and do the whoosh, just like that. And then yellow splatters happen on my piece. And I don't care if it's blobby. I just want some yellow on there. So take your time, get some splatters on there. I'm going to get that a little bit wet again. I'd like to see some more yellow on there. There we go. That's more what I'm looking for. That is fun. All right, I am going to dry this with a heat stick because I am ready to play. All right, stop the presses. I am going to spray a little bit of alcohol on some of this yellow and see if I can get it to drip down a little bit. No, but it's moving the ink. That's fun. Oh, yes. Look at that. Can you see how that's moving down? That is fun. All right, I'm going to grab it and I'm going to dry it. Oh, gosh. Love it. Okay, so as I was spraying that quote-unquote alcohol, I wondered why it was not taking my breath away the way alcohol does. And it's because it was water, which was even better. But I thought all I had over there was alcohol in a spray bottle. So I used water instead of alcohol. And I dried it. Now I'm just going in and picking up the big blops of paint, making sure that it's relatively dry. And then I'm just going to go in with my sandpaper a little bit and just ruffle the edges just a little bit. Don't need it a whole lot at this stage because everything's pretty darn yummy. Okay, when you're done sanding, make sure and clean off your work area so that these little bits and gibbles don't get under your focal point. Okay, this background is divine. So I'm going to just play with those focal points again. Kind of place them. I had, oh, here it is. All right, I'm kind of lifting that up more than I had it before so that we can see some background. All right, I'm going to glue this piece down and then move forward. going to use my Mod Podge and my brush. Grabbed a squeegee so that I can push that page down super well. Alright, I have Mod Podge on the gears. I'm going to stick those down. Take my squeegee, start at the center, and just squeegee it down. Now, being as this is on watercolor paper, it is going to want to warp a little bit, but that can be taken care of by spraying the back with water and placing it under something heavy. And the watercolor paper will behave. Beautiful. All right, let's bring him back in, see where he belongs. Because I believe this piece can go down first. Yes, right there. We'll put that right there. Or about right there. We can always adjust with dots if need be to bring energy around to different places. And now for the big piece. I'm going to put some Mod Podge on the back of him, and then we will place him down. Now, handsome hubby and I went to a used bookstore where I bought a book with these images in it. So these pages are more sturdy, thicker than magazine pages. So they don't warp and wrinkle as much. And I'm just going to take my squeegee and smooth him down as much as possible, trying not to rip off his fingers. Not that we wouldn't glue them on, or maybe glue a bird there, huh? We would figure it out. I'm going to go back in with paper towel, push him down as much as I can. Some of the edges are coming up, like his fingers, and I will put some Mod Podge on those. Oh, a little bit maybe. They're down pretty good. A little bit of texture coming through from the underpants. We're okay with that. Oh, isn't he looking yummy? Oh my goodness. Started off with a white piece of watercolor paper, and look what we have done. I'm going to put a coat of Mod Podge over the whole thing to seal it. I have decided while you were watching me. Now be careful because the Mod Podge will move the ink, so you don't want to work it and work it and work it. You just need to get a coat of the Mod Podge down there. Let it dry, and then guess what? We're coming in with the Stabilo. Pretty darn fun, huh? So I'm going to bring my Stabilo in, and I'm going to Stabilo the edges of the image. And what I'm doing now is I'm bringing my ruler in and taking it to where that frame is going to hit approximately. And I'm just making my stabilo line there, just so I have something to go from. And then I will go back in and low light. And then we're going to look at the piece, and we're going to see if it really needs white dots. We will check in with the piece. Now what I'm going to do with this piece is I'm going to take it to a local printer and I'm going to have it printed on metal. Won't that be fun? So the only place I can see really, I don't know. I need to lift it up and look at it. Does it need white dots here? I believe it does. We'll just put a couple of little white dots there. And we're going to do it around here too. Oh, what have we started? Add, adjust, add, adjust. Oh, this was a fun piece to create. That feels pretty good. My village, that feels pretty good. All right, your turn. Go create. Go play. Go have fun.